Keeping complicated SKU names is a DNA specification of Intel. But why? To mislead the consumers or confuse the average office PC customer? No, none of the above. Rather, it was originally made to make a specific customer happy. But how? I'll clear all this, but before that, I want to clear this that it's not a guide to specify Intel SKUs, naming related stuff or just like that stuff, you know. But don't be disappointed, fella. I've published a full-fledged article about recognizing which Intel SKU is suited for you, and it is pretty frequently updated. Just go to the link in the description, and you're okay. Okay, so we're good to go. Hit the intro, editor. Intel SKU naming is questionably complicated, but Intel has got a number of good reasons to do that. Firstly, variations. To understand it easily, you may think yourself as a budget gamer. Now, a budget gamer will not buy overclockable enthusiast level of CPU. Rather, the gamer will buy a decent CPU with a performance of 60 FPS instead. So to help these little fellas, Intel figured out some SKU names. These are the tiny i3, made i5, the boss i7, and the monstrous Core i9. So the consumer will get an overall idea that what he or she wants to get. But that's not all. Those confusing letters are pretty much, like an enemy of the consumers that make their heads pretty much spinning. But is it actually like that? Let's face it, consider you are an enthusiast overclocker looking for a CPU which is great for overclocking and thermal efficient. Of course, they will not buy the budget CPU, which is in this case 12 Gen Core i3 or 11 Gen i5. Anyways, instead they will buy a Core i7 or a Core i9 as usual. But which one? For example, there's a list of some 11 Gen Core i7. The Core i7 11700 with no letter, and then the same SKU name with the letter F, and also the same SKU name. It's a SKU name. Come on, always script mistakes. Okay, whatever. The same SKU name with the letter K, and also the same SKU name with a KF. So all the SKU numbers are same, just the letter changing. Okay, now all the letters behind the SKU do contain some special meaning. In this case, the first two i7s will be avoided by overclocker. But the second two CPU SKUs are great options for an overclocker, because there's a letter K on those two CPUs. Letter K or X on Intel CPUs means those CPUs got unlocked multipliers for overclocking. Okay, so the whole point to explain this example is that every SKU letter specifies a specific feature of an Intel CPU. Like the letter F specifies the CPU don't have an iGPU inside it. Now here, an iGPU means integrated GPU, so you don't have to buy a graphics card for separate display outputs. Just for context. So if you are aware about the SKU letters, you don't have to see the spec sheet for many important features. So the whole point to throw these letters into a SKU is to make our CPU buying's life a bit easier. But in a complicated way. But if you're hunting for Intel CPUs a bit longer, you may be aware about this and know what is the importance of these confusing letters and numbers. But the reason these are so many is because Intel have to specify its countless variations of CPU, so people don't always have to remember to check the spec sheet for whatever, like whether it's overclockable or does it have an iGPU on it, or even it's a low TDP CPU or not. So I hope you understood that all Intel wants to just try their best to make sure that their customers are getting the right CPU for their needs. That's the reason why Intel is keeping so many variations of their CPU lineups. For example, you want a CPU with a lower TDP, like you want some power saving. So you need to buy an Intel CPU containing the letter T rather than buying a locked but a little beefier CPU like other budget buyers. But if you want to dive deeper to Intel CPU naming, you may want to check out the article I mentioned before the intro. Ah. And that's the end of this video. But if you're interested in my channel, go check out some other videos and like it if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it. YouTube don't care if you disliked it. Anyways, but be sure to subscribe TNG Perks because good guys like you are always welcome to my channel. And also in my website, so be sure to check that out also. And till the next video, bye bye. Appreciate it.